Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Hussein Kamani from Chicago. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the tawfiq and ability to communicate with one another for this beautiful cause, which I'm going to introduce very soon, inshallah al-aziz. Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is at the core of every human being's life. And one of the most beloved sunnahs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was nikah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one narration, when talking about marriage and nikah, he said, "An-nikahu min sunnati." Marriage is from my sunnah. And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَمَنْ رَغِبَ عَنْ سُنَّتِي فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. Whoever turns away from my sunnah is not from me. So when we put these two narrations together, we realize that being married is at the core of the deen. Unfortunately, some of us, we don't give the correct attention to marriage that it requires. And then when we do give that attention because of family force or that pressure, or we realize that we were being childish earlier on in our life, we find ourselves in a fix where we don't know how to go about it anymore. Then there are those of us who are taking it serious from the very first day, and we're so particular about making sure we make the step right that we're afraid of making mistakes, and again we get caught again. So there's a lot of insecurities when we're searching for perfection, because as we know, your spouse is the other half of you. The Prophet ﷺ, when talking about marriage, he says it's half of your faith, because half of it you complete, the other half is completed by your companion. And the companion in life is the one who's going to guide you in life. So finding the right people is very, very important. Now, being an imam in the community, one thing I can tell you for sure is that people come to me all the time and they ask me, Sheikh, how can I get married? Do you know someone that you recommend? Now, the reason why they come to an imam generally to ask for potential candidates is because the imams know the people, and generally these people have interacted with the imams. So if someone is reaching out to an imam, just in general, that speaks a characteristic of them, that speaks of something about them. So they are happy that that unique characteristic of them being open to reach out to an imam, to communicate with them, that speaks a lot about a person in itself. And the other thing is that they hope that the imam won't present them with someone who won't be a match altogether. Someone who's serious, someone who's not going to sit there and play with them, because again, marriage is something that's very intimate. And if someone plays with you at a time when you're so serious about something that's so intimate, it can be hurtful. So there are many avenues out there that a person can follow in order to get married. Obviously, there's this idea of reaching out to imams, or your parents searching, or it could be some auntie in the community who's known for linking up people. But ultimately, at the time we live in, one of the most powerful resources is social media. It is the internet. It is being connected with people through the World Wide Web. So where we have this powerful tool, the World Wide Web, there are so many matrimonial websites out there. Now, amongst them, there are those that are, mashallah, beneficial, and there are those that there's a lot of stuff going on that really isn't, it isn't mamduh, it isn't something that's praiseworthy. So there are many people who have, mashallah, throughout the years come forward and they've put these projects together, and the projects are usually very focused. That we are not trying to get 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers. What we're trying to do is find the right group of people who will be able to match with each other. And if they can match with each other, hopefully, inshallah al-aziz, that'll make our success rate higher. So for a business, obviously, that's their benefit. But also for the people, that's the greater goal, to make sure the success rate is right and people find the right matches. So if someone was to ask me that what's your opinion on following or using a matrimonial website, my answer usually is that find something that's focused. Not something that's just shadi.org or shadi.whatever it is, because it's so broad. You need something that's focusing on something that's focusing on, maybe it's focusing on the demographic, maybe the age, maybe the race. Between races, it may be focused on a particular age group or whatever it is. There are different focuses within the matrimonial websites. Now, the particular matrimonial website I wanted to introduce to you guys today is Mawaddah Matrimony. As you can see, it's this beautiful banner is to my right side. The brother who put this project together, mashallah, has experience in this. And his experience was a personal experience, first of all, where he went on a journey to search for a spouse, and it was complicated. Being a student of knowledge, being someone who was looking for something very particular, he had challenges. So when he came through those challenges, he said, I don't want other people to feel what I went through, so let me pave the pathway for them. So my dear friend and also a student of mine who put this together, may Allah reward him, this was out of passion. And something that he cared for. And it was also out of compassion, out of mercy for those who follow along. The second beautiful thing about this particular project is that the brother who was involved, this brother Riza, may Allah reward him, he has experience in this. He has put up other projects very similar to this in the past, and mashallah, they've been very beneficial to the country from east to west, and scholars are aware of them, and mashallah, the ulama have endorsed the projects of Brother Riza for a very long time. Mashallah, he is a known and ma'loom person, not someone who is unknown. So he's trustworthy in his character. Now, the three things I wanted to highlight are the 3 bullet points that he has here that we feel is something that those who are watching this need to know about. The first thing is to make sure that the services offered at Matrimony, Mawadda Matrimony, they are safe and trusted matrimony. This is a safe and trusted matrimony website where your information is not being sold on the market again, and just for a quick marketing dollar, you're not going to see your information on other websites. And this is something you have to be careful of when you're putting this sort of sensitive information. When you're talking about, if you're buying a car, your information is of a genre, it's of a type. But when you're talking about marriage, you're putting yourself online. So that's why it's important to make sure you are safe and you're in trusted hands. The second thing very important is that the website is supervised by a board of scholars. I don't want to use the word Sharia board, let's just use the word board of scholars, okay? What does that mean? What that means is that Brother Riza, being a student of knowledge himself, he realized that while he was on the journey of searching for a spouse, there were certain challenges he faced. And certain challenges were, we can talk about them, and finding the spouse or how to find a spouse, that's one thing. But the other thing that he felt was a challenge was that finding your spouse while making sure you do not compromise any of the laws of the deen. And this is very tricky, by the way. It's very tricky, okay? And especially those who are more practicing, or those who are making that change in their life, or those who are attending lectures now and they're feeling that they want to make the step and it's half of their deen to make sure they do it properly, you have to be careful. So that's why, mashallah, at Mawadda Matrimony, there is a board of scholars who are supervising the whole process to make sure that we are trying our best to make it Sharia compliant. Okay, but at the same time, you have to realize there will be compromises, because we're dealing with the World Wide Web. There's only so far you can be strict with people, or there's only so much you can impose on people, knowing that they are in different parts of the world and you're not face to face with them. So that's a reality you have to bear in mind when you go deal with any matrimony website, whether it's Mawadda or anything else out there. The third thing, this is a halal avenue for practicing Muslims seeking a compatible spouse. So it's a halal avenue, again, the whole idea of the board of scholars, and practicing Muslims. Why practicing Muslims? Well, the reality is that a practicing Muslim would be someone who is keen on ensuring that they are supervised by a board of scholars. And supervised by them doesn't mean that the scholars are watching them at all times, or who are watching every message of theirs, and that's a halal word. And this is the model of it, that it's sound. So this is a very beautiful project right here. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it immense barakah, and those who use this avenue to search for their spouse, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives barakah in your marriages. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows you to meet your right spouse, whether it's through this avenue or through any other avenue out there. Just be patient. For those of us that are struggling, who have been searching for a while, be patient. Don't feel that, don't feel restrained in life, don't feel constrained, don't feel worried, don't feel Allah has abandoned you. Your search in life sometimes may take a while, right? But Allah is saving you from all the other bad that's out there. Look at the positive of it, okay? Look at the positive of it. People, just today earlier, it's interesting. A brother came to me and he said to me, Sheikh, I'm having a tough time finding a spouse. My friends are telling me that someone's done black magic on me. Right? So we just blame it on black magic right away. It's, you have to just be patient. Everyone has a unique test in life. And for you to search for your spouse, you have to be patient. You have to be focused. And at the same time, use the avenues that are out there, so that way you have used the asbab, the means, to reach the qadr of Allah, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has determined for you. So again, this is your brother Hussein Kamani from Chicago. Hopefully what I said was beneficial. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.